Hey guys, it's Ole,
And Funky Fool.
and today I want to talk to you about the track Holdin On. I released 3 weeks ago together with Funky Fool and Amy Mori on Lost Frequencies label Found Frequencies. I want to cover the break with you, just going over the bass we used and this main pad flume-like key sound, and just dive into the Serum patches and do some sound design nerding. So this is the project of Holding On. This is the second version we did. We did 4 versions in total, and we did the second and the fourth on my computer, and the first and the third on Nico's computer. So lots of things are bounced out, frozen, or muted still. So it's like all a work in progress. But I still have the bass in MIDI here, so I wanted to show you the bass we used in the break. So first of all, let's have a listen. This project is without the vocal, so it's just gonna be the instrumental. So let's have a look inside the Serum patch. This is the Serum patch. I called it Medusa-like bass because it sounds kind of like the one Medusa is using a lot. Yeah, we have 2 oscillators. The first one is a saw, the second one is a saw, and I used the analog Juno wavetables. I think these are like just recreations of the Juno saws and squares and whatever. But it's not like a saw, so if you just use the basic shape saw, it's different. If we have a look inside the wavetable editor, you can see these things. I don't really know what they do, but they're not on the same height, so it just goes up a little bit and then it stays here. And also, the first harmonic isn't that far up. If you compare it to a regular saw, you can see it's all on the same, and here the harmonics go down. I think, yeah, it's the volume of the harmonics, so it decreases exponentially. And this one is just a little softer, I think, and I like it more because the top end isn't that digital. It just sounds a little bit warmer. Um, so I used 7 voices, just some detune, random phase all the way up. The second oscillator is pitched 2 octaves down, so it's 1 octave higher than the first. And I just used it to ring modulate this oscillator. So just have a listen to this. If I just remove it. Yeah, I think it just reduces somehow the low end. I'm not really sure what it does and if you really need it, but I did it anyways. So let's have a look at the effects. So I used an OTT, just put it on there just as it is. Full tube distortion, just all the way up. And then the most important thing is the filter. So this is just a normal low pass filter, 24 dB. And I applied the envelope 1, which is also the volume envelope of the whole patch, to the cutoff. So if I was removing this, so this is very harsh and not so nice. And this gives the wow attack to it. So just added some attack, a little decay, and just went down with sustain 5.3 decibels. And then the end is just a reverb, which is I think automated in the end. Yeah. Just for the transition a little bit. And yeah, that's about it. That's the whole patch. The only thing you have to worry about, that's why I typed it in here in German though, it means the whole sound is stereo. And if you want to have this sound in a drop, you should really apply another sub. So you can use the sub oscillator, which will be mono, or you just make your own sub and put it underneath, because this is stereo. If I was making this mono, it sounds really weird. Yeah. Just loses all of his character. So if you want to have this sound in a drop, you should definitely apply a sub. But that's about it. The second thing I want to cover is the sound in the beginning of the track. This pad flume-like keys. This one. So let's have a look at this patch. Another Serum. I just used the analog bass drum sign. It's the third wave table. If you just click through it, it's kind of a sine, but it has some harmonics to it. I don't know really which ones, but it just has some harmonics. And I used LFO1 just to have a little wobble on the fine tune, which gives it this slight detune. And LFO2 is on the level, so it just wobbles in the tuning and also a little bit on the volume, and just to give it some movement. The second envelope is applied to the filter, so it just gives it some attack. So you can see it moving. The third is applied to the effects. You can see it's like a little tube distortion, just like the very top end, just to give it some more harmonics after the filtering, but it's very settled, so it's about, yeah, it's 10%. I don't really hear a difference, to be honest. After that, it's a chorus, but also very settled. So yeah, the sound will work without these effects as well, and then just plate reverb. But one interesting thing is the open up macro. So that one will add the band plus minus, so it gives it more a sawy character and just adds again more harmonics. And also it opens up the filter and adds some drive, so there will be more of the distortion and stuff. So just exaggerates all these effects. And basically that's it. I just applied another high pass filter, and that's the whole sound.
So what's up guys, thanks Ole for the intro. So yeah, Holding On is part of my EP Continuum. It was released on Found Frequencies, the label of Lost Frequencies, and I'm really happy with the result of everything. So let's dive in. I'm gonna explain you a bit more how we made the drop synths, how we made the basses in the drop, and that's gonna be it. And then little story of how the track went and how we made it. So let's go. So here you can see actually we have the drop. It's a beautiful vocals of Amy. And then you have this very special lead actually, which is made, so the lead is made from a vocal. This is the vocal we used for the vocal synth. So now you put it in a simpler, you loop it, and then you can make chords out of it, you know, and which is really nice. It does a 1, 2 here. And then if you make the chords out of it, you get this. And so the track actually started as a project from Ole. It was actually like an industrial breakbeat track, and in the end we just got the MIDI parts from the start and the break. This is the pad like we started with, and then we built a whole track around it. I think it's really cool, really fresh sounds also, and cool chords. Little EQ. Not too complicated, which is here a super cool effect also for the chorus, which gives actually like the stereo and gives a special effect to the vocal, which is actually beginning to sound like a synth. And this is giving really the feel. And then we have like some erosion to add some high end. The hands here, same, bit more high end. Bit of OTT, a lot of OTT actually, 59%. And then we have here an effect track with reverb, which is a bit lower than with the chain. Bit of saturation with the Saturn, and the reverb is actually sidechained to itself, so it comes out when there is no note playing, which is interesting. Here a bit of imager, so we have more a stereo, and then classic sidechain, with the shaper box. So that's basically it. Then we have another synth which is coming underneath it to support it, to have a bit more details, which is actually, it resembles really hard to the synth of lights, and it's actually just a basic square, which we just almost init patch. Same multiband to put it more in the front, a bit wider, so for the stereo. And then we have this bass, which is actually kind of resembles to a Martin Horger bass, which makes like bass house, and which is the thing which does all the effect here is actually the saturator. So this is actually the kind of Martin Horger bass, the guy who makes like a super nice bass house. And then you have this effect, the saturator. If you put it, it's like a stock Ableton effect. If you put it on the wave shaper, you can really see the difference. I'm gonna show it. And you put the curve on, it's gonna distort in a really nice way. So that's without it and with. And you can choose the curve. You can choose the curve here. So this is a super cool effect to have your bass a bit like different, you know. Even a bit of reverb on the bass. Shaper box. And then we have the toms, we give the groove a bit. If you play the toms with the drums, gives that really nice groovy sound which gets all along in the drop. In the beginning it's really simple, just a rim shot also. For the drums, we have the kick here, really strong kick. Then the snare, the Axwell crash, really famous also by Kygo, he uses it in all his tracks. And then we have this one, this is the hi-hat. This is really the snare which makes the track, I think, also really cool, because it's like a tonal snare, and you can see it here. The tone of this note is really going up. So we played a lot with this, and if you put this and then a saturator, it gets really the tone out of the snare. Without, it's really, because of the saturation, it gets really out of the mix, which is really nice. A bit of a reverb. So we were together in the studio with Amy and Ole, and actually Ole came 4 days at my place here in Brussels, and that's why we made Holding On. And then I asked Amy if she wanted to work on the track and maybe do a top line for it, and then she agreed, and then we went all together in the studio. We showed her the track, she loved it, and then we basically started writing right away, and it went actually super quick, so that's super nice. And it was really a process of all of us three involved into the making of the vocal. So we recorded it instantly to have a demo, and then we recorded it better with a better microphone afterwards. So we have a vocoder on her voice, which I love using vocoders. I use it almost in all of my tracks, even if you don't hear it that much. It gives really a nice effect to the vocal. So here with the vocal synth.
Usually I give all I have, but I'm done. So tell me what you're holding on. Tell me what you're holding on to.
So, and all together.
Guess I could say it was you all along. Gave you the trust.
And so you use the chords to trigger the vocal synth. So you use the same chords as the pad in the start, and that triggers the vocal, which is really nice. And then basically we have like this moving sub a bit underneath it. Which is a Serum. So that's triggered by the LFO, so that's why it's moving a bit. What's really cool about this track is how Ole and I met, because I was in Germany for writing week, and we met actually in his studio because I was renting his studio, and then we came along really well, so which is super nice. And then we sent tracks back and forth, and we were like, hey man, why don't you come to Belgium for like a couple of days? In the end, he stayed for 4 days. We went to the studio, had a couple of sessions, and then Holding On was made. And then we brought back Amy in the project, and this is like the final idea. So I really hope you liked it. I really hope you liked the track. Keep streaming Holding On and keep streaming the EP, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
So that was the tutorial. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you learned something or got inspired to make your own sounds. But for sure, thanks for watching, and maybe we'll see each other in the next tutorial. Until then, stay tuned. Bye bye.